Hey guys, welcome back here. In last lecture we introduced Redux. In this lecture we'll continue with reducers. So let's start. We'll start with the wireframe I showed you before. So we'll work on this right part. So reducers will take previous state and an action and will return a new state to a store. If you want to know more about reducers, let's Google it. So React Reducers. And here is the official page of Reducers Redux. Let's click it. Let's go inside and you can see reducers specify how the application state change in response to actions sent to the store. And reducers are just basically pure function. So let's find a pure here. The reducer is pure function that takes the previous state and action and returns the next state. And things you should never do inside a reducer: mutate its arguments, perform side effects like API call and routing transitions, call non-pure functions, date now or mad random. Okay, with all of these informations, we can start working and create the first reducers. Let's go to coding editors, and we can remove these debuggers from the last lecture. Debugger here and into the map state to props. And let's create a new folder now. Into the source folder, new folder, and let's call it reducers. And into the reducers, new file, and let's call it rental-reducer.js. And the reducer is just a function. So let's write a function, but first export it. So export const rental reducer. This equals to function. So arrow function. You can write normal function, is up to you. And this will receive state and action. And don't mind action-related code here because I will talk about actions in the next lecture. And let's assign a state default state of an empty array like this. Okay? And here we need to write a switch. And we'll switch action type. Alright. And let's write default, just a default here. And by default, we will return a state. So no change, we will get a state here, and we will return it. Not actions involved yet. Alright, and now I can go to app.js, and here I will copy all of the rentals, so just this array here, like this. And I will cut it from here. Let's just an empty array for now here. And let's go to rental reducer. And here I will create a new variable, const rentals. I will assign to these rentals we just copied. Like this. And here I will assign to the state, not the empty array, but the default state, it will be rentals. So these 4 rentals here. Okay. And now we can write our store code, because we are writing our store here and that's not very good. We should have a separate file for it. And by convention, the best place is inside of a reducer folder. So let's create a new file inside of a reducers. And let's call it index.js. Like this. Okay, and here we want to create a new function. So const, and this function will be called init. And let's assign to it function, arrow function like this. And here we will return a store. But first we need to create a store. So const store. And I can copy this code from our app.js. I will remove this return here. Just like this. And also this callback function inside. Just Redux create a store here, so I will copy it all. And I will go back to index.js. And here I will paste it. Okay, back to app.js. And here we don't need any more Redux. So I'll cut it from here. Index.js, and I will paste it on the top. Okay, so we are getting store, we are returning store, that's good. And now we need to access here our reducers we just created. So new variable for a reducer. and we will have a more reducer in the future. So when you have more reducers, you will write Redux combine reducers like this, and this is a function. And you need to provide object inside. And first reducer, we just created this one, it's for rentals. So you want to get the rentals here, rentals key, and you need to write here rental reducer. But first we need to import this rental reducer. So let's import rental reducer, and it's from rental dash reducer, and it's from same folder, so dot and slash in the front like this. And now you can create a store and provide to the store reducer just like this. Okay, so save everything now, and we can go to the browsers. Let's refresh application, and store is not defined. Okay, because we are not providing our store to provider. Okay, so this function now return a store, and we need to access this function inside of the app.js. So I will remove these empty lines here, and above app I will write const store equals require, and I will go to a reducers folder, so reducers like this, and I will call our init function. Okay, and let's provide the store is already provided here, so let's save everything. Let's wait for refresh, and here we have another issue. Init is not a function, so let's take a look. Go to index.js, and yeah, we are not exporting init, so export const init, and let's go back to browsers, and now we have our rentals here. Amazing. Okay, so this require here is just another syntax for an import, because I can write here import init from reducers like this. This is the same, and I can assign to a store just init I am importing here, and this would be equally the same. So when I go back, I have rentals here, no errors here. So I will revert it because I prefer this syntax now. Okay, so what's happening here? Let's play some debuggers so you have some idea. I'll place the debugger inside of an init and inside of a rental reducer here before a switch and inside of a default. Alright, let's go back to the browsers. Here I will inspect the page, and let's refresh. So first we are getting to init, and we are creating our reducers here, and then we are getting inside of a rental reducer our state is our 4 rentals here. See, action is a Redux init action here. We didn't specify, but it's a default by Redux. Okay, and now we are going inside here, and I will go inside of a default state because there is nothing to catch by this switch. We don't have any case for this action type, so we are returning state that we have as default here. Okay, I will fast forward this, and we are getting into our application now, and that's it. So these are reducers, and I hope you have at least basic idea of what's happening here. And maybe it's a little bit blurry right now, but you will see what are really benefits in the reducer and in the Redux in the next lectures when we introduce also actions, and you will have a whole picture how everything works. So I will remove this debugger here, and also debugger instead of a default. We don't need it here anymore, and go to index.js and this debugger as well. So guys, so that's it for this lesson. We introduce reducers, and in the next lecture I will talk about the actions. So guys, see you in the next lecture.